welcome to MJ Hobby Corner, everyone. I'm MJ, and for today, I have a bonus little video. I'm not feeling 100%, but I really just want to get a game in. So I decided that I would film this little demo of Anthems of War, which is a new game by Sentient Robot, author Ryan Dunphy. And I just couldn't wait to try this game. I really wanted to try it out. Now I'm going to be playing solo. Keep in mind that this game is designed for two-player. Okay, there will probably be an expansion to the rules that maybe gives us some solo rules, maybe an AI, something like that. I will keep an eye out for that. I'm definitely very interested in watching the progress of this game, and hopefully we do get more expansions and things in the future. All right, it's a very, very interesting little rule set. So I'm gonna play this out, and just remember, we're learning the game, so mistakes are going to be made. So don't take everything, take it with a grain of salt. I'm gonna try to play this example to my best understanding of the rules. Now, this will probably be my second game. It's not really, because I've already played this off camera. And so we'll see how this goes. All right, so this is Anthems of War. I'm going to be playing the cold-blooded Dominion, which are the lizard men on this side, and versus the mercenaries on that side. Okay, so let's check out the little warbands. And this is the quick play rules. So we strip out all of the complexity. This game has a lot more to it. You can do a lot more things, but we're going to go little by little. Okay. All right. Let's introduce the warbands. Okay. For the cold-blooded Dominion, we have 2 lizard man warriors. Okay. We have a mantis warrior. This is a cool little figure that I repurposed from Mage Knight. So very cool insect-like figure. So that's going to be my mantis warrior. And then we have 2 salamander archers. Okay. So that is my little cold-blooded Dominion warband. Nice and easy. Mercenary side, we have a dark elf assassin, and she's probably going to be a leader in the future. And a very cool miniature from Reaper. And we have a Ratman warrior right here. Okay. And then moving on, we have a bandit archer right there. So she's a bandit archer. We have a bandit warrior, I believe. Let me just make sure that that is correct. I'm just looking at my list here. Yes, bandit warrior. So he's a bandit warrior. And then we have another bandit archer right here. Twin sisters here. All right. So bandit archer, bandit warrior, and bandit archer. Okay. So nice and easy. 2 archers and several melee figures. All right. Great. Okay, so I decided to play a take and hold scenario, which I believe is the second scenario in the book. 2 forces arrive at the field of battle with the same objective, to take and defend several strategic points. So I set up 3 4-inch squares. There's one, and the limits to those squares are lined with these stones here. Okay, so the interior of that is the square. Here it's these 4 trees. Those mark the boundaries of that square. And then the final one is down here. Okay, so each of those stones mark the boundary, and inside is the objective. You also have, since I have a river running across here, I have these little piles of stones that models could stand on, and they can actually cross to the other side without a problem. Okay, so and that's what I did here as well. This is very shallow water, so models can cross there and get to the other side, and of course the bridge as well. So part of that bridge is well inside one of those squares. So the goal is to capture and keep the zones in the center of the field, and of course that is the center of the field. Capturing a zone. A zone is considered captured when you end the turn with only your characters inside the square. At the end of that turn, then however many squares you control, you get 10 points for each zone that you control. Okay? Now, if your opponent's characters end up in the zone with you, let's say you're fighting or whatever, then you do not get those points. The zone is therefore contested. The game ends after you gain victory points equal to all three squares, or after 6 rounds, or after all characters have been eliminated. I think for purposes of this game, I'm only going to do 20 points, but a longer game is going to be, 30 points. You have to score 30 points on any given turn. After every given turn, you have to score 30 points. So I'm just going to do 20 points for the purposes of this demo, okay? But in a standard game, it's going to be 30 points, and then that's the winner. Or you can play 6 rounds, cap it after 6 rounds, and give yourself a round limit. Okay, so, and of course, any characters with special abilities, we're not going to be doing a lot of that in this game, but any special abilities like scouting or whatever that allow the character to deploy further up, you can't deploy close. I think you can't deploy 2 inches from any of those squares. I think that makes sense. So it's just so that, you can't just claim the objective right away. So that's it. That's the take and hold scenario. Now let's give this a try and see what happens. So the cold-blooded Dominion is deployed right here on this line. Okay, so 3 inches away from the edge. And there's the archer, 1 lizardman warrior, archer, warrior, mantis warrior right here. Okay, all the way close to the edge. And the board ends right where this terrain piece is, right at the edge of one of the objectives. Okay, so that is that. And then the other side, the mercenaries, are deployed similarly in a line across the way. Now, in a 2-player game, we would roll the dice as like an initiative roll, and whoever wins that roll is going to decide where they're going to deploy, also going to decide who goes first. Okay, so we're just going to roll it, and orange is going to be the mercenaries. Mercenaries roll what is that, an 18, and lizardmen roll a 1. Mercenaries are going to take the first turn. All right, that's just what I'm going to say for purposes of this solo game. Okay, so we are here in the mercenary side, and all these figures have the regular trait, including the cold-blooded Dominion, so they get 1 order apiece. So there's a total of 5 orders in the order pool. Okay, so each figure generates 1 order because it is of the regular trait. So we're going to take the Dark Elf first, and she's going to choose a long action, which takes up the entire order. And a long action is basically a double move, so she runs. Basically running, so 4 inches and 4 inches for a total of 8. That order is used up, and I'm going to put a run marker on her. Okay, that's going to be very important if she's shot at. That's going to be very important because the shooter gets a -2 because she ran. Okay, so all right, next, I think I'm going to have the Rat Man run beside her. So he's going to use up another order. That gives me a total of 3 left in my pool. So he runs. And they're obviously going for that 3rd objective. All right, so he ran. Things are going to happen on this bridge. So I want to have someone covering the bridge. So I think my archer, or the archer, again, we're going to give a full order. Double move. Right up to that bridge. She's covering the bridge. There's a slight incline there, so it might affect my line of sight. But we'll leave her at that. So I have 2 orders left. The other archer is going to move to cover. So she's going to take a double move, but she's not going to move the entire way. She's just kind of the wall there to cover that. And of course, that is a run. And I'm going to need another run token for the other archer. All right. And for the final order to finish the mercenaries' turn, we are now going to run the warrior. Now, things are going to happen on this side as well, I think. So, 4 inches. 4 inches. Now, this game has a very interesting way of dealing with rough terrain. You roll the dice. It's a random determination. You roll the dice, and that will tell you how far the model moves. Okay, so that's a very interesting thing. You do that. That's for the standard rules. Okay, so, but I just wanted to make note of that. So we might do an example here just to show how that works, but it's very interesting. All right, there's the mercenaries. I'm going to write up a couple more run markers, and then we're ready to go to the Cold-Blooded Dominion. Turn 2 of round 1. Okay, so let's see how the Cold-Blooded Dominion reacts to the mercenaries' moves. Now, Cold-Blooded Dominion are also all have the regular traits, so they get 5 orders. And just make sure I have my 5 orders. Okay, so we have our 5 orders, and now let's see. I think I'm going to start with this side. There's this weird nest here of bugs. We're going to move around that. So I'm going to give the archer. See, that archer over there is covering the square, so that's going to be tough. But I'm going to move my archer here 4. I'm out of range because my archer has a base range of 6, and because of the range trait that adds 3, it's a total of 9 inches. So we're not quite in range yet for any shooting. So I think I'm just going to move him right up to the rocks here. Now let's see. Almost puts me into range. Almost puts her into range. So I'm just out of range of the archer, and that was a double movement, so 1 order goes down. Okay, 1 full order. Next, the warrior is going to respond, and he's going to have an order. Now, you don't have to move if you don't want to. All right, I'm going to move him, a double action. That is a full order, and I got to give him a run marker. Okay, and now we're going to have to, let me see, let me check range. Nope, she's out of range, not yet in range. He is a melee character, though. He doesn't have a bow, so I have to be careful with him because she can shoot at him with no problem from where she is. All right, so let's put a run marker on him. All right, so continuing with the minion's turn. Let's see, we have 3 orders left. So I'm going to take 1 order, give it to the Mantis Warrior. Mantis Warrior is going to run. And again, now this is just the time to kind of position figures, and you know, everybody's running, trying to position themselves. So 4 inches right there, and then another 4 inches towards the objective. Doesn't quite make it to the objective, but he's right there. Okay, so there is Mantis Warrior right near the objective, and he ran, so we have to mark him so I don't forget. Okay, and now I think I'm going to give it to my archer. He's also going to get a run right up to this wall. Now, one important thing is salamander archers are fast, so they get an extra inch during their basic move. Okay, so basically he's moving 5 inches. I'm going to move him 1 inch more. He's going to be moving 5 inches per move, but I don't need that much. So for his second move, he's not going to move quite that much. He's just going to go right up there. Okay, and that takes the whole order. He has also run. Now here's the deal. I have one more order left. Okay, there is a juicy target right across the river, and that's the dark elf. All right, and actually she's in the base stat, she's a dark elf assassin. I'm making her a dark elf warrior, so she doesn't have a ranged weapon. Okay, she's a dark elf warrior, so we're going to say she's a melee figure. The archer can fire on her. However, I have to use this order up, this next order, because I used the long order. Okay, if I want to, I will have to use this order to make a basic attack. However, and that could be a shenanigan, I could be lying about that, okay? But that's my interpretation of the rules. If I use this marker, however, the lizard man on the bottom, right here, he's not going to be able to move because I'm using the last order. Also, he did a long move. The archer did a long double run, which means he gets a -2 to shoot. In addition to that, she had just run. Okay, she still has the run marker on her, so he would be getting a -2 for her as well. If I read the rules correctly, that's how it is in this case. So that's a -4 to him. Okay, I could still use it, but it's kind of a long shot. All right, because it's a -4. She also gets the chance to do a dodge if she wants to. She most likely would. So I could be wasting that order. So for now, I'm not going to take that risk. I'm just going to move the lizard man. Okay, but I just wanted to mention that. And lizard man is going to do a double move. And that is the end of the lizard man's turn. He's going to get a run marker, but it's the end of the turn, so everything resets, and we go now to round 2, turn 1, mercenaries. Okay, so round 2, turn 1. Let's get all these markers cleaned up. Okay, we're on the mercenary side. Now, on a very important note, facing of the figures is important. Okay, so line of sight is the sort of cone thing from the front of this figure and to the sides as well. So like this whole front arc thing. Okay, so that is very important for line of sight. So figures where they're facing, it's important. Figures also have a 3-inch sphere of influence, okay, where they can turn and react to something that comes to their rear because of that sphere of influence. That becomes very important in melee. So I just want to say that because that is a very important part of the game. So she is facing that way. Okay, so she can still see Lizard Man there because it's that cone. So she knows that that Lizard Man is there with that bow and that he's going to fire as soon as it's their turn. So there's not a lot of cover though. So she's going to, yeah, see, they're in a tough spot there because that Lizard Man is covering that zone. So that's a good position to have. Lizard Man, Cold-Blooded Dominion, is doing pretty good covering here. All right, so she is going to take the order. She is going to do another double move. and get her inside. Okay, so she's doing her double move, zigzagging, running along. She splashes into the shallow water. And now we got to give her a run token. I'm just going to keep her there. She could move a little bit more, but I'm going to keep her right there. She has that run token on her. And kind of dodging as best she can. She is now in the zone. By the way, now the mercenaries are pending a tie. At the end of this turn, we'll see what happens to her. But now I think mercenaries, let me see, let me take my orders, make sure I have all my orders. Okay, so she used an order to get up there where she is. And now I think I want to give a full order, a run mode for him with a full order for the little Ratman warrior so he can support her. And have another figure there for the objective. Now we have to stay on that little rocky bridge there. That's a little bit of a kind of a tough place to be in because it's a little bit of a bridge of rocks, and that's all it is. So they don't have a lot of areas to maneuver in. But they both ran. Okay, so at least they get that benefit that they've run. And now it's the mercenaries' turn here, the archer. So let's look at, let me do a little line of sight check. Okay, now she is in line of sight. I love these model eye views, I really do. So yeah, she could definitely take a shot at him, okay, without really moving. Okay, so line of sight checks out. However, range does not check out. She has 9-inch range. She has to move a little bit more. So we are going to give her the order. She's going to move a basic move for 4 inches, get even closer. And now she's well within range, and we already checked line of sight for that. So now she's going to do her standard action. We use up that order, and now she fires. So the speed of her weapon is a 1. She's going to have the black dice. The melee lizard man, he is a melee figure. He is going to dodge. So he's going to add his dexterity of 3. And we both want 12s, okay? So let's see what happens. Okay, the orange dice rolls a 19, 7, 3, no go. She misses, and he gets to dodge anyway. So he would have dodged anyway. That is a failure on her part. However, he is pushed backwards. So that's going to put the mercenaries in a position to actually win the game. So he moves by half his move, 2 inches, and then he's going to go prone. Normally, you want to move 2 inches back into the closest cover, but he's just going to go prone. That makes him harder to hit by ranged. It does make him easier to hit if he were attacked in melee. Okay, so, all right, there it is. But he's pushed back, and now mercenaries control that objective. And actually, there's 2 objectives there. So mercenaries are pending the win right now. Pending to win. At the end of the turn, they will be victorious. All right. It is the end of the turn, so let us check, end of the round, rather. So let's check the squares. Nothing here, okay? Nobody in there. On the other hand, right here, we have a lizard warrior right behind the line for the little objective. Okay, so technically he is in that zone. At the end of the turn, they will be victorious. All right. We're going to keep playing for a little bit just so that maybe we can see some melee. All right, so the warrior here, this is the bandit warrior. He's going to do a double move, so he comes around this wall. And that puts him right into the other square. Okay, so he's done a long move, double action, he runs, puts him right into the square. Now, the archer, I'm going to check range. She definitely has line of sight to that lizard man, but she does not have range. Yeah, she does not have range. So, she's going to go over this low wall. It takes a couple of inches of her movement. So, she moves 2 inches. Okay, she goes right over that wall. And now she is definitely in range. And it's going to be a basic ranged attack, standard range attack. So one order, the last order, she fires same exact same thing as before. Black dice are lizardmen. He's going to try to dodge. And so I'm going to give the orange dice to the mercenaries. And she is going to add her dexterity to that roll. Lizardman's going to try to dodge. He's going to add his dexterity. And he didn't run before or anything, so we're good. All right. Black dice is a 20. That is 2 successes, okay? And that clearly cancels out one of these successes, which is her shot. So he dodges successfully. And he moves back 2 inches. And tries to go into cover as best he can. We're going to move him right into here. I'm going to say that's cover. Right into that terrain piece, okay? So he now moves into that weird little, whatever that is, bug nest forest. It's actually a cool little bug nest that I made, okay? So he's going to use that as cover. And that's that. Now, round ends, and as per the conditions that I put, the mercenaries would score here. Actually would score 30 points. 10 points here, 10 points here, 10 points there. So even by the traditional standard, they would win the game. Okay, let me just do one more turn and try to do a combat in melee so we can see that. And then this little demo is over. Mercenaries have technically won, but let us do, let's just do, give the lizard men a little bit of a turn here and do some moves and see if we can do some melee. Or I can just fix up a melee to show that. But let's give here my archer. He's in definite range of the rat man there. So he's going to take a standard, a basic ranged attack, okay, on this guy. So he doesn't move, foregoes his movement, but he's going to take a basic ranged attack. And so same thing, black dice is the lizard man. He's going to add his dex. Weapon speed is 1, so 1 die. And then this guy gets to react because it isn't in his front arc. He is going to be able to react. Now, if he had been turned around into the rear arc, his sphere of awareness would not save him there. Okay, so it would be not an opposed roll, but an unopposed roll. So that's very important, opposed rolls versus unopposed rolls in this game. Okay, so let's do this then very quickly. We've already seen plenty of ranged attacks. So the orange dice, which is a 3. The dodge is a failure. Okay, and the lizard man, 12 plus 3 is definitely a hit. So the Ratman has to do an armor check. All right. So to do an armor check, Ratman has to add his dex and his armor. He has a light armor, which gives him +2. So that's his dex is, oh, he's a 0. Warrior, dex is 0. So he only adds his armor in this case, which is not that great. So that is a +2 then to the armor check. All right. So now, and you add that to an 8, a base number of 8. Just make sure. Yes, the number rolled must exceed the attacker's weapon strength +8. Now the weapon strength for the bow is a 5. So an 8 plus 5 gives him a 13. So he needs to roll a 13 or over. And he only has a bonus of +2. Ooh. All right, so that's how that works. Okay, let's do it. Let me see where I'm going to roll. Right down here. There's a nice open space. So let's roll down here. All right, he rolls a 13, exactly. He rolls a 13 +2, and he manages to dodge. So we got to move him back. Okay? Got to move him back. He's going to go towards the nearest cover, away from the enemy. 2 inches. And I think he's going to go prone. Well, see, the thing is that when you go prone, in order to stand up in the next turn, you have to use an action. So again, you do have to think about what's going to happen, when you choose one of these actions or reactions. But in this case, all right, he's not going to go prone. He's going to stay standing just in case he needs to act next turn, all right? I'm not going to play the next turn, but let's just continue on with this turn for a little bit more. Remember, we're doing an extra thing now. Mercenaries have already pretty much won. Okay, so I have 4 orders left now. I think I want to go with this situation here. And Mantis Warrior is going to slam right in. So I'm going to do an order and just kind of move him up. Okay, so Mantis Warrior is going to attack with his claws. His weapon speed is 3, so he uses 3 dice. I'm going to give him 3 dice. And she's going to attempt to block as a reaction, so she's going to use 1 dice. Now, for her reaction, she adds her physique, which is 1, plus her shield bonus, which is also 1, so that's +2 for the block. And for him, he's going to add also his physique bonus of 1. So now we roll. We're going to roll them simultaneously and see. So black dice is going to be the Mantis Warrior. Orange is going to be her dice. She gets a +2. Mantis Warrior gets a +1 to each of his dice. And oh boy, we have a 20. We have a crit. Okay. And we have an 11. +1 is 12. That is another success. And a 3. That's a failure. Now, she only rolls a 4 plus her 2. That's a failure. So this 20 counts as 2 successes. And this counts as 1 success. So a total of 3 successes for the armor checks. Okay, so for the Mantis Warrior, his weapon strength is a 3 for each of his attacks. So we are going to add 3 to the base number 8. And 8 plus 3 is 11. So she's going to have to roll an 11 or over on each of those dice to successfully save. Okay, anything that goes through takes away her constitution. She only has constitution 1, so she would be dead. So, all right. But she has a high dexterity. She has a dexterity 4. She has light armor 2. And then a shield 1. She has a +7, which means that anything a 4 or under that she rolls would be bad. Okay, and uh-oh, I see it already. I had to re-roll 1 because it dropped off the table. But there is a critical failure. A 1, a 6, and a 12. All right, so these two make it, but this one goes through. She takes 1 wound, and that is the end of the Dark Elf. And so the cold-blooded Dominion claim first blood on the Dark Elves, even after they won. All right. If he wanted to, let's say if he did a long action, he could do a sidestep, and that counts as a long action. And then she would, as a reaction, she would have to turn around, and that's all she could do. And then the combat is not an opposed roll, but an unopposed roll where he would roll the attack, okay? Because she used her reaction to turn around. So that's the benefit of the sidestep. So that's just a little combat thing, melee combat thing. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do for today. Let me just do my closing statements, and we'll get this done. Now, I am going to be doing more with this game. Definitely more with this game. Now, I do agree with Joy of Wargaming. In one of his videos, he mentioned that it is harder to do as a solo war game. He specializes on solo war games, and I totally agree with that. I think playing it solo, although I had fun, it definitely is a 2-player game, and I am really can't wait to teach Julie this so we can play 2-player, and then I can get her input as well. I think this game's really going to shine in 2-player. However, I would still recommend play it. Play it solo. Just fumble through it. Learn the rules. It's great learning the rules, playing it solo, because it kind of forces you to look at all the situations. And while it is a little bit overwhelming, it does force you to look at all the situations. And I do feel a little better about, actually going out and teaching Julie and saying, okay, these are the things and this and that. Of course, we need to continue to learn this game. This is just the basics. This game will add more to it in the standard rules. When you play the standard rules, you have things like morale. You have a lot of things that come into play. Battlefield embellishments, weapon embellishments. You have special abilities, all this stuff. Okay, running, jumping, falling, pushing models, maybe pushing them off a ledge. Potions, healing, all this stuff. So again, we're only scratching the surface, but I'm not there yet. We're going to do this little by little. And when Julie and I play our first, second player game, we will do an MJ spotlight on this, and we will go over the rules and go over character creation. So again, very cool game. I do recommend it. And I will give all the links in the description to the author's website, to Sentient Robot's website. And you can also download the little character sheets there, the little unit sheets. And there is a small resources section where you can download little paper models and things like that. So that's great. And I'm sure that they're going to expand that. They're going to keep adding to that. So definitely check this game out. And we're going to be doing more with this game on the channel, okay? This was just a quick play session, and I'm sure I did some shenanigans. I'm sure I messed some stuff up, but basically to the best of my abilities, all right? Next time, we're going to add magic. We're going to see how magic works, and that's it. All right, folks, thank you very much. We'll see you in the next game, and we'll talk very soon. And now I'm going to go rest because I'm not feeling 100%. So talk later, and get ready for an Oathmark game coming soon.